Halo Combat Evolved, there's this moment. It's towards the end of 2 Betrayals. You just finish fighting your way through a Forerunner chasm filled with the Flood. After braving the darkness, Flood onslaught, and an almost endless gauntlet of imposing Forerunner hallways, it happens. A glimpse of the night-draped snowy canyon. You reach the edge of the tunnel, snow already making its way in. As peaceful flurries drift by your visor, a title card narrows down the screen, and my favorite soundtrack, synthesizer notes, and Marty's 3 a.m. chanting. Pure fucking magic. I grew up in jungles and deserts, so snow was a relatively odd sight for me. It was only when we'd go to visit family in North America that I'd get to see it, so snow became associated with vacations, good times, and social warmth. Going into my college years, snow was usually accompanied by steamed up windows in my dorm. Snow is associated with a lot of good in my life, both past and present. Nowadays, I always try to build up snowmen or get invited to steam up someone else's dorm room window. ScoobyDoo 2002. I watched this movie every night before bed growing up. I met Shaggy, who apologized for my exposure to the film. And it served as a gateway to a lot of Y2K content that I would have otherwise missed out on. Sugar Ray, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and every Freddie Prinze Jr. film. And I really mean every film. But not only is this movie my favorite thing to have on during hookups, it's directly related to this video. There are a lot of COD zombie games. Therefore, there's a lot of COD zombie maps. Tons of gimmicks, tons of characters, tons of weapons, tons of map layouts, tons of Easter eggs, tons of bosses, tons of content. However, one sticks out as something I can play over and over again. Solo, split screen, or online. Call of the Dead starts out strong. An intro cutscene with legendary zombie film director George Romero giving us a solid intro monologue before we are exposed to Buffy, Freddy Krueger, Danny Trejo, and Michael Rooker fighting off zombies in front of a frosty lighthouse. Just as the action reaches its crescendo, it turns out to be a movie set. Very Tropic Thunder.
Ain't nothing but a thing.
But in moments, actual zombies show up and thrusts the actors into a real fight. Again, very Tropic Thunder. Now, this map has a lot of the zombie fundamentals. A level up sandbox where you start off with a weak pistol, which is good for racking up points. Wall weapons that go from early round, advantages to just being good enough for later rounds. And a mystery box weapon that can vary from garbage to god tier weapons like the RPK, Galil ARM, and Raygun. A smart player will save their points for a competent mid-tier wall gun before chancing the box. There are doors to open, adding strategy to how much of the map you want to activate it. Buffs in the form of drinkable perks. A power box that needs turning on, and gimmicky shortcuts and escape routes. But you can find all of that on Black Ops 1 zombie maps. There are other things here that make this map special. The first is George Romero as a pursuer boss zombie. Most of the time he is docile and will slowly stalk you around the map. When aggroed, he lets out a stun attack that slows you down and increases zombie aggression and speed. George Romero himself will also speed up to attack you. The only way to get him back to normal is to lead him into the freezing water. More on that in a second. The aforementioned cast is a major upgrade from the usual guys. Instead of hearing Nikolai say stupid shit about vodka and fourth wives, I get to play as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sarah says lines that could be related to Buffy, ScoobyDoo. It really makes me wish that there were more actors that would lend their talents to arcadey fun game modes like this. But what really elevates Call of the Dead for me is the setting and environmental interaction. Like I mentioned before, you can cool down Romero by leading him into the icy waters. Stay in said waters for too long, and you'll begin to freeze. So whether you are slowing down Romero or trying to freeze up the zombie horde, you're on a tightrope act as you're trying to get this stuff done. As this environmental hazard could also have you lose the entire game if you get too ballsy, focus too much on the zombies, or just don't move fast enough. The snowstorm can differ in intensity, making the box harder to locate since you can't really see the sky. However, zombies become easier to spot as their yellow eyes gleam through the fog. There is also an iced out hallway that acts as a quick getaway slide, Mario 64 style. It makes me realize just how cool of a biome snow, tundras, and general winter can be, and how underutilized it is in games. Now, I don't know if a lot of you have been around long enough, but I did this one video called Digital Biomes, and I did it on deserts. I guess in a way this is technically a digital biome for tundras and winter environments, so for those of you that have been around for a long time, you can consider this episode 2 of Digital Biomes. I'm sorry for the 4-year wait. Halo 1 doesn't have much mechanically going on with its wintry areas. However, ice patches make it difficult to drive on with a Warthog, adding vehicle depth based on terrain, and making it a weighted decision whether or not you want to keep the Warthog to take advantage of its deadly turret, or if you're just going to swap it out for a Ghost, which handles icy environments a lot better. Batman Arkham City has a section where you need to cross shark-infested waters on thin ice. Moving too quickly will cause you to fall in, adding tension to every step. As you continue through this level, the ice will start to thaw, meaning new gadgets or new means of traversal become necessary on each subsequent visit. Rise of the Tomb Raider has an endurance mode where you need to find resources to build fires for warmth, hunt and gather for food, and use trees to hide from enemies. Tomb Raider also has sections where the snow is thicker, influencing how fast you can move. Last of Us has this awesome section in which Ellie goes from hunter to hunted in a tundra biome. The first part has you hunting down a deer with a bow. The snow makes it easier to track as its footprints show up on the terrain more, and its blood contrasts nicely against the shiny white snowfall. When you become the one that's hunted by cannibals, a blizzard gives you a stealthy edge in situations where you'd be easily caught. MGS4 has a really fun sniper boss fight in a blizzard section where both Snake and Crying Wolf are harder to detect. The usage of thermal optics to gain the edge is something I want to touch upon later. Metal Gear Solid 1 has a temperature-sensitive set of card keys, freezing water that harms Snake, and an Easter egg where he can catch a cold. And an incredible PS1 snowy atmosphere aesthetic. And of course, let's not forget Breath of the Wild. A temperature gauge shows how warm you need to dress or how close to fire you have to be. Form snowballs, snowboard down a mountain to move quicker, or make spicy food to get additional cold resistance. Even the enemies here tend to be weaker to fire, and chilled meat from hunted animals can help resist the warmer temperatures elsewhere in Hyrule. Breath of the Wild is so cool. But there is more that can be done with this. Tune in next time for an idea I've been cooking up for a while. This has technically been the second episode of Digital Biomes, and also just an expression of my love for Call of the Dead and why I think it's so cool and fun. What's your favorite zombies game? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, this has been Pliskin, over and out.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him.